Welcome, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on leading universities in India. We've been working towards this for a while, and we've got lots of leading universities speaking with our students every year, just giving everybody a kind of a view on what it is to study in India. So before we get them on board, we just want to give you a little overview about studying in India and a little overview of what we do and how you can make the best of this webinar. Right, so I'll just share my screen. Give me a moment. Okay. All right. So here we are. This is what we are going to be doing today and approaching a lot of Indian universities. It's a very interactive webinar, and what the universities really like is for you to be able to ask them specific questions and get the answers that they want. They have been going around meeting students across various schools as well, so it's really very useful for them to meet you and to be able to answer questions. Often otherwise what happens is that they have a deluge of questions during their application process, and therefore they like it if you can ask these questions and get them clarified beforehand. So I'm telling you this so that you can be kind of prepared for the fact that it's a highly interactive webinar. Okay, so before we get into the India universities and into studying in India, I just want to give you an overview of us and what we do as an organization. So, as you would be aware, Inomi Learning is a self-discovery based organization that works with students in career and college guidance. So, let me show you a little video about us, and then perhaps we can tell you a little bit about our work and then give you an overview about studying in India. So, here goes. Thanks for watching. So that's us. So we really are a self-discovery based company focused on career and college guidance. What this means is that our promise to you is not that we are going to get your child into the best colleges, though we do work with many students applying to top colleges, and we have students studying across Oxford, Cambridge, Columbia, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, Ashoka, Krea, NTU, leading universities across the world. But our focus really is to get you onto a career path that is fulfilling for you. And college we see is as one step along the process. So our goal really is that when your child or you are at about 30, as you are, really your career is rising, you've got your feet firmly into the role that you are really interested in, and you can see the path ahead, and you are equipped for the journey that's really going to motivate you. So that's really who we are. Our work, very quickly, I'll give you an overview that our programs include starting in grade 9, a program called Head Start, which is highly exploratory for grade 9 students, where the ultimate option is to come out with top 5 careers, sort of saying that what are the top 5 things that we can do. And we give you resources to explore them, like videos to watch, online courses that you can do, books that you can read, things that summer programs that you can do to build your credentials in that area. The other program, which many of you may have gone through, is Pathfinder, which is the career guidance program, where again, it's a self-discovery based program. We share a lot of 70, 80 different career options, but we use the psychometric tools to filter from that in a very self-discovery based way. And in the end, we try to be non-prescriptive while being clear at the same time. So we're saying this is the one primary option, this is the backup option or contingency plan, and this is a long-term option. So we know that mostly a psychometric test will throw up 10 or 20 or at times 30 options for you, and that's just as confusing as it must have been when you started out. So we do try to narrow down to the one that we think is most important, but then we also want to keep it flexible, because 16 or 17 or even 25 may be too young to say that this is the one thing that I want to do in life. And therefore we want you to have a slightly broader view, hence the contingency plan and the long term option. Then we work with students applying to India, which is a large number of you, I would imagine. And we also work with students that are applying abroad across countries like US, Canada, UK are the main three countries applying abroad. And then we have students applying to Europe and Singapore, and earlier Hong Kong, but now mostly Europe and Singapore as well, a little bit of Australia. So that's really who we are. And this particular webinar, as you're aware, is focused on applying to Indian colleges. And we have an impressive lineup of the best liberal arts and STEM universities in India. So our lineup includes starting with Ashoka University. I was just saying this to one of my clients today that I think everybody applies to Ashoka. People who hope to get into Ashoka and have been dreaming of it forever, people who have no chance of getting into Ashoka because their grades are not good enough. Even they are like, oh, let me throw my hat into the ring. And then even people who are really looking upon Ashoka as a kind of a backup plan, because what they want to do is to go abroad, would be applying to Ashoka. So Ashoka is that number one option. And plus, particularly, I think Ashoka has a whole range of subjects that all of you can really apply for. So that's one of the main reasons why I think that a lot of people are interested in applying for Ashoka, right? Then if we go ahead and look at the next speaker, so we have Flame, again, one of the oldest liberal arts universities in our country, and it's got a very impressive faculty. Many of our students are studying there, and they have very good feedback when it comes to both the faculty, the environment, the push for research, the support for placements, some of the top things that you're looking for from an Indian university. So Flame, Anju Desokarm from Flame last year also gave us some brilliant insights, and she'll be here as well to talk about it. Then we'll have Kanchi Khanna from Plaksha. So Plaksha is the number one liberal STEM university, or let me say interdisciplinary STEM university in our country. So apart from very focused engineering universities that you get through the JEE route, Plaksha is unique in one because it's interdisciplinary. So the environment is very exploratory, discussive, and quite flexible for students to learn more than just the one thing that they've signed up for. But it's also very forward looking. You have some of the founders are leaders in industry across different companies, so you have the best companies that would be supporting them for placements. We have students who have joined them from the first batch itself, and we have excellent feedback from the students and from their parents, and even from newer parents who go and visit it every year. What they understand and what they get out of Plaksha is excellent. It's in beautiful Chandigarh, so it's really a wonderful environment to be in also. Krea is the other one. Krea is again, I would say, one of the best liberal arts universities in the country. Our whole team had an opportunity to visit Krea earlier this year when we went to run placement training programs for them in August. And we really loved the campus and the environment and the students and the vibe that we got over there, and the passion with which the faculty is not only trying to teach the students, but help them take the next step and find placements or apply abroad. So it's really a university that's got the welfare of the students at the center of what we're doing. So this is our lineup for today, and you will be meeting all of these speakers very soon. I will just give you an overview before we get them into our get them to start speaking about applying to India. So what I'll be sort of looking at is why apply to India versus applying abroad. And before I get into that, I just want to take a sort of a view from you all on how you look at applying to India. So you'll see there's a poll on your screens. I'd like you guys to respond to it, and just tell us that how are you applying to India? Is it your primary option? Is it your backup option? Just you can choose any one of those options here. Okay, so I have a few responses. Others, please also respond. Some of you have responded, and what I can primarily see is that our audience today is composed of people primarily applying to India. And so this is therefore a very useful webinar for them where you're looking at some of the leading universities over here. Have I annotated this, guys?
I don't know. I'll just figure it out.
I'll clear it. Okay, there it is. Okay, all right. So that's sort of like how people are looking at applying to India. Like I was saying, a lot of people are also applying to India as a sort of a backup. And 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's take a quick look at comparing India to the top five destinations in in the world. You know, these are some of the top five destinations for people applying for college, and of course, the US and Canada are two top destinations. UK is a top destination. Australia is a top destination, and India is a top destination. Right. So when I'm choosing between applying to India and abroad, how do I really make that choice? So four signs that it makes sense for you is sort of like if you look at the course and you see the job and visa prospects for the course. So, for example, if you look at the US, you know that STEM courses, courses that are designated as STEM, give you 3 years of a visa opportunity in the US, which means three times that you can apply for H-1B visa. Also, even if you just work for those 3 years and come back, that experience of having worked in a competitive and leading economy like the US really goes a very long way in building your career. So if you are applying for a STEM course, then the US is a great place. Even non-STEM students do get jobs over there. You must have heard of so many stories of people coming back, but non-STEM students do find jobs there. But often if you're looking at a non-STEM option, you might look at UK or Canada, where you would get 2 to 3 years visa even if you have a non-STEM STEM option, right? And then another indication for applying abroad is if the student is fairly emotionally mature and stable, and is not going through a lot of adolescent issues, which might be issues like anxiety or depression, which may make it difficult for them to settle in a completely alien environment. So then it makes more sense for them to stay in India if they're going through that. Then financial ease. I always tell clients that if you've saved just so much money for your child's education, then it's better to spend it at the post-grad level than to spend it at the undergrad level. It really doesn't make sense for you to pick up all the savings that you've put for your child and present them and send them abroad at the age of 16 or 17, where they are really very young and they're still trying to figure out what's right for them, and it may therefore not be the best use of your money for them as well. And it also puts undue pressure on the child that I really need to convert this into something, while they are actually children figuring out who they are, how they dress, how they speak, what do they want to do in life. So, if there's financial ease, then it probably makes more sense to send them out. And of course, the presence of family and networks in these particular countries make it so much easier for the child to have somewhere to go if they really need emotional support. Right. So then, since I've said all this about studying abroad, so why study in India? And so my quick view on what India presents really. All of you must have heard about the huge India opportunity. I think that, the world is talking about India in 2050. The expectation that India today, an emerging economy, is expected to be one of the world's leading economies by 2050. So employment prospects are great. Job ready courses in India particularly are very, very good. Like if you see law, medicine, engineering, which are very professional courses, which are really, they've been geared very well. The whole system of how the child gets in, how placements happen, then how the world moves ahead, the path is very clearly chalked out for Indian students. So, if you're looking at medicine, if you're looking at the IITs, if you're looking at other science-based courses in the IISERs, that's India is a great place to be. Law again is a great one for India. Several internationally recognized universities today, starting with Delhi University. So Delhi University is a highly recognized university. Of course, now with the CUET, everybody is confused about how to get into Delhi University anymore. But it's still a great university, and I'm sure we'll find our way. Then Ashoka is again a university which has a lot of connects with um, leading universities abroad. And since faculty comes from universities abroad, then faculty publishes its research abroad. Since if leading universities know Ashoka, then a student going there finds it that much easier. So Ashoka every year sends students for postgrad study to some of the leading universities, from Berkeley to CMU to Columbia, a lot of the leading universities across the world. So does Flame, Krea, OP Jindal, who's not one of the speakers over here. So they pretty much have uh, learned the art of being recognized internationally, so that people can really get, their students can get the value of their education in international universities at the postgrad level. Okay, so world class liberal arts and interdisciplinary education. So, this has really been what the 21st century has given us in education in India, which is, the Flames, Ashokas, Kriyas, and Plakshas of the world, where there is interdisciplinary and liberal arts education that recognizes that students may want to change their mind, they may want to explore, they may not want to study just one thing, so they may want to do a major and a minor or a dual major. So all of that is now available in India. These are the top four universities, and then OP Jindal is also a great one for that. Okay, then another great reason to study in India, like I was saying, is to save your investments for postgraduate study for students who are uh, anyway sure that they're going to be applying abroad eventually and would want to study abroad, right? Okay, so here I just tried to put together some of what India is expected to do. So a lot of what the world is saying is that for Indian students, if you're not looking at the US, you're very happy in India, because India itself is expected to have some of the largest job markets across a lot of the leading industries. This is a PricewaterhouseCoopers report. It was published pre-COVID. But post-COVID, they haven't changed their view of India too much. A little bit, of course, India was one of the countries that got badly hit, but we are on a growth path back. I think quarter one in India was a 15% growth. Quarter two is also expected to be like a 7% or so growth, which is still, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So we do expect to be hitting number two in the world by 2050. So you can imagine that, students who are really doing very well in India would have all the opportunities to earn a lot of money. So when we're saying leading economies, we're also saying that what are the earning prospects for people over here. So one of the reasons why people are going abroad is because they would earn a lot more for the same job in a Western or a leading economy than they would in India. And by 2050 or so, when students passing out this year would be about 40, 45 or so, at the peak of their careers, they would really be in a very comfortable place as far as India is concerned. Okay, so now here, moment, yeah. So here I've tried to compare for you admissions to India versus admissions to other universities. So this is the sort of cost of attendance across countries in the world. And on the next slide, I'll show you the cost of attendance for India. So if you want, you may want to take a picture of the slide, and we'll of course be sharing the video of this webinar with you as well. But we've really tried to summarize a lot of information about studying across different countries. But since it's focused on India, I'm not really going to go into this. So if you want, just take a picture of the slide. That will give you an overview of comparing different countries to each other. And then here are the India education costs, right? So if you can see, Ashoka, the most expensive, would have a total cost of attendance of about 11 lakhs. So over 4 years, that's 44 lakhs. Over 3 years, that's about 33 lakhs. So if you compare that to the previous slide, you can see that the value you are getting out of that money is much higher, right? It's then, Flame is, so if you see Flame, Krea, Plaksha, OP Jindala, more or less in the same range, then NMIMS is a little bit lower, and then Christ. Sorry, there's a spelling error over there. All right, so that is it as far as India education costs are concerned. And here are some of the fastest growing sectors in India. So perhaps before I show you, I'll get your view on this, on what you think are some of the fastest growing sectors in India. So here you are. Please feel free to share your opinions on what do you think are some of the fastest growing sectors where you think that Indian students would have a lot of prospects if they studied in India? Right. So, oh yeah, we have a couple of more views over here, but I'm just going to end the poll now and just show you. Of course, everybody expects technology to do the best. We all understand, but technology, fintech, infrastructure, ed tech, e-commerce, entertainment, they are all expected to do very well. These are really sort of like the industries of the future. If you look over here, so I've got this from reports across Deloitte, Pricewaterhouse, McKinsey, World Bank, a lot of
कांची
the
बोल रहा था
research on
कांची बोलो
the industries in India that are likely to do well. And,
हाँ
as you can see in our world around healthcare, food, grocery retail, entertainment, I'll just show you a slide on where entertainment is going for students who are applying for design and media in India. Real estate is big, infrastructure for engineers, for people who are into finance, e-commerce, edtech, the fintech technology. The one I've left out over here, I meant to put it in and then I just forgot, is energy. Since energy and environment are two very big areas across the world with a lot of funding and research, India has just sort of gotten onto that bandwagon. And if you can see, our performance in COP27 is also very inspiring. So energy and infrastructure and environment are also areas that are really likely to grow in India. So it covers such a broad width of things that students can do and expect to have good opportunities in India, that we are really in a very good place for students applying for India. So this is the slide on entertainment that I had wanted to show you, the world's, sort of audio visual factory. If you can see the number of films produced, which we know, COVID barely gave us a little bit of a hit, and then we are back on the road running with it. Number of serials, television channels, mobile phones. So, we're a huge, huge, huge industry when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to digital advertising, digital media, music. We are really, really very, very big. So really the view that I want to give all of you is that applying to India is really being in a very safe environment and really being ready for some of the biggest growth stories that we are going to see. And I think for so many years we've been saying, oh, India is a great nation and we are going to get back there after independence. And I think that these students in their lifetime are really going to see that movement to really be proud of what India can be. I just wanted to take a view from all the participants before I move this. I move the baton on to Shaurya and let Ashoka take on the screen and tell you about Ashoka. I just wanted to take a view on our audience, on what grades you all are representing. So, what grade are you or your child in? If you can quickly just tell us. So we have mostly grade 12, grade 11 students, it seems like, and one grade 9 student. That's very proactive of you. Very nice. Okay, wonderful. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm just closing that. Okay, and I'll then quickly share with you the last one, which I just wanted to get your views on, which was what course are most of you applying for? So we just want to sort of see that what are the areas of interest. It's also useful for the universities that are coming on today. All of these universities that are coming today have courses in computer science. Plaksha has courses in engineering as well. So I do see that there are 3 people here who are looking at computer science and engineering, 4 people. And then it's economics and finance, then psychology, then business. This is really how I find mostly our students are also spread, that mostly people are either applying to computer science and engineering, and then the most popular is economics and finance, and then psychology and business. So that's pretty much interesting to see. That's the spread of students here today as well. So thank you for being here. And is Shaurya here, Ankit?
Hi, good evening.
Hi, there you are, Shaurya. Hi, sorry I didn't see you in the waiting room.
Oh,
Very
that's
nice to
common.
meet you, and thank you for making the time.
Likewise. Totally my pleasure. And I really enjoyed your presentation, I must say. Very informative.
Thank you so much, Shaurya. Very, very nice to meet you online and all yours. You can share
Oh,
your screen and
yes. I'll just
sorry,
do
one
that.
last
If you
thing.
can.
Sorry, Shaurya.
Yeah,
One
please.
last thing, guys, before we start, is that please feel free to put your questions in the chat, even as Shaurya is speaking. It'll be easier for him to see what you're looking at also and respond accordingly. You can also unmute yourself and speak later, but just keep putting questions and thoughts and ideas in the chat box. All yours, Shaurya. And we'll
Thank
start.
you. Okay, I believe my screen is visible. I think my presentation should be visible now.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. All right. Hi, good evening, everyone. And my name is Shaurya. I work with the outreach and admissions at Ashoka University, and I have been managing specifically the outreach operations for Delhi NCR. And thanks a lot for having me today to give out this presentation. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to part some knowledge and some information with all our audiences today. So today, rather than talking about the university, rather than talking about the courses, I am going to be talking about the careers after liberal education or a liberal arts and sciences degree. And we have been kind of doing this regularly for a while now. So a good thing about Ashoka is that uh, because of the fact that we have a lot of high ideals and a lot of high values regarding the kind of education that we provide. So another responsibility of ours is to make sure that we are informing everyone as to what is happening all around us as well. So we have been doing these presentations regarding careers of the future, whether it's an admissions or an applications workshop or a walkthrough of the Ashoka application. So we've been doing these sessions for a while. So today I'm mainly going to be talking about the careers, after a liberal education degree. What are the prospects, where we have been, where we are right now, and in the direction that we'll probably be heading in the future. The predictions that have been kind of forecasted over the last couple of years, especially in India, where now this trend of liberal education is really coming up, and so it's imperative to know. I think at the same time the kind of opportunities you would have after doing an undergrad in liberal arts and sciences. So moving on. So basically, this presentation is quite straightforward. There's nothing complicated about it. I'll be sharing very basic information with you. Very very simple things like the kind of jobs that we'll be looking at in the future, the kind of jobs that will be going obsolete in the future as well. So a very nice quote by Albert Einstein: "It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education." I must say this is so true for any liberal arts and sciences university. I know the fact that we want to break away from the traditional approaches of how education has been looked at in our country, especially. One thing that always survives is the curiosity of a human being and of a human mind. So, this is kind of a saving grace for all of us to uh, make sure that we are following our passion, we are asking the right questions, and we are just questioning things as well. As simple as that. That's one of the most important things I feel that a liberal education degree would provide you is critical thinking, which is, your curiosity going up. The simple things like you just asking why and how is it, what makes it possible, how is it not like that, rather than you taking a statement and just running along with that and basing all your assumptions in the future on that statement that has been given to you. It's really good, I think, to just ask the questions why and how. So yeah, starting just with something as basic as that. And the world is changing at a warp speed. We have seen that over the last few years, definitely. And I would say that, over the last couple of years since the pandemic, it has really, really been changing very, very quickly. And it's going to keep on happening, as you would kind of expect and observe as well. Netflix, which we all know, it did not take them too long to become the world's biggest studio, and that too on a completely online platform. You don't have to go out anywhere, you don't have to go to theaters. In fact, so much so now So many movies that have been releasing in the past 2 years because of the pandemic, they have been streaming on these OTT platforms, especially Netflix for that matter. So that's the direction that we are heading into. Rather than going to theaters to watch a movie, everyone can do that from their, residences, from their houses, as simple as just opening up an application of Netflix on your phone and just going through that as well and enjoying your favorite shows and movies, right? Similarly, no one buys videos or music anymore, to be honest. When was the last time you heard someone buying a CD or a cassette tape and playing that? It hasn't happened for ages now. And I'm sure you all are aware of that as well. Spotify is there for your music, YouTube is there for your videos, music videos. Like I said, you have uh, hundreds of platforms to just download, stream music, whether it's SoundCloud, whether it's iTunes. So many of such platforms are there. So from physical buying, we have gone to electronical buying to now a subscription streaming services. YouTube Red is there. Like I said, Spotify is there. So you subscribe to these applications and you have literally unlimited music to yourself. In fact, I just a couple of days back I renewed my Spotify subscription, which I paid for I think about 1,200, 1,300 bucks for the entire year, and that is really really convenient. Trust me, for someone like me who listens to a lot of music, I would not be spending my money on buying CDs, which anyway I would not know where to put them these days, because literally nothing comes with a compact disc anymore. Even your cars, you'll rarely find anything. Cassette tapes are dead now, so even CDs for that matter, no one is buying them anymore. You are directly using your Bluetooth to connect your phone to your car stereo and listening to the music anywhere and literally everywhere, right? So again, another direction we are heading into. Everything is quite electronic these days. Again, Bitcoin investing is the new gold rush, right? Everyone is buying, everyone is into cryptocurrency these days, regardless of the fact that you don't know how it works, you don't know what's going to happen with it, but everyone is rushing towards that direction. So just a few examples of from where we have come and now where we are right now, and this is the future we are heading into as well. India's 100 unicorns as well. If you see, India has been doing really well, and as in the last presentation we saw, it's going to grow at a pace that is unbelievable. It'll be unbelievable, and that's not something that is being just predicted by universities in India, or just very very basic studies, but everywhere in the world it is being accepted as well that India is going to be a very very big economy, especially by the year 2050. It's going to overtake US and just be behind China for that matter. So we are in that growth stage, and I'm sure if you look at these companies, you would have heard of most of them. You would have heard of uh, companies like Licious for that matter. I'm not even talking about the more famous companies. I'm talking about the very, very basic companies like Licious. They have been doing so well for that, for themselves. Obviously, Zomato is there, Urban Company is there, Quicker is there. So yeah, as we can see, Oyo is there for that matter. Oyo is doing really, really well. Not just in India, they are expanding in other countries as well. I believe in the States, they're expanding at such a rapid pace. And so India is the place to be right now, and uh, there is no reason why we should not be looking at India, whether it's for your university degrees as a destination, or whether it's for you to start your own entrepreneurial journey as well, or just work in any particular field. There's no reason why that should not be a viable option these days. I think that will be the smartest thing to do, is to work towards development of your own country, and in turn I'm sure you will reap the benefits of doing the same as well. Okay. And Yeah, like I was saying, in the past 2 years, we have really seen this happen. COVID has reshaped countries. They have reshaped companies. You can work from anywhere. The hybrid working model has come into play. Remote working has come into play. Work from home has come into play. Literally, you can be on a beach in Goa and just do your work as well. And a lot of us did do that. A lot of us did do that in the past 2 years, where we were in different cities and still were able to manage our work very, very easily and quite smoothly as well. Something that we never thought would happen, but it's just because of the pandemic. that gave us an opportunity to develop everything and move forward in that direction as well. And this is something that always happens. If we look back into the history as well, uh, some sort of an event really dictates where you go or in a direction you head into as well, right? And this has been the biggest probably thing that has happened in this century so far, is the pandemic. We never thought that people would have to lock themselves inside rooms, inside their own houses, completely isolate themselves, and then live their lives and adjust to everything. But it did happen, and we managed to do that as well. Again, this is something which should really kind of tell you that adaptability is so important these days. If you cannot adapt, trust me, you are already past news. You're already ancient. You're already from the stone age. So it's really really important to make yourselves adaptable. Get enough skills in yourselves to know that, okay, I have the confidence to adjust to changing scenarios and adjust to changing situations as well, right? So that has become a reality across the globe, as we have seen. So a few, very interesting points over here. Knowledge is multiplying and aging faster now, and this is something that is really, really, really happening. And a big reason for that is definitely technology. Big reason for that is definitely knowledge, which is so easily and readily available to us. But yeah, until 1900, the sum of total human knowledge used to double every 100 years. All right, so advancement, you can say, used to take place every 100 years. A major advancement used to take place every 100 years. In 2020, IBM did a study which says that knowledge is doubling every 12 years. And we can see that, right? In medicine, this believed to happen every 73 days. And this is very much evident in front of our eyes as well. If we look at the past 20, 25 years itself, I mean, the development and the advancements that we have made, in technology, in space, in medicine, in research, it is unbelievable. We see it all around us. Tesla is doing wonderful things, and then there are medical researches that are taking place, coming out with new studies, new vaccination, new cures to so many diseases where we never thought that we'll be able to find a cure for it. Right. So knowledge is multiplying and aging a lot faster than what it was just, I would say, a few years back, I would say, or a few decades back, if I would, just emphasize that. A degree in any discipline loses most of its value in 5 years. Again, this is true because you got to keep updating yourselves. If you think that, having a UG or having a degree is going to sustain me throughout my life, it won't. And I'll tell you, it doesn't mean that every 5 years you need to do another degree or you need to study some more. It's just that you need to keep developing and evolving yourself, right? If you're at a job, you learn, you learn, you learn, and you keep on learning till you, well, there is no till you literally keep on learning till you stop working, maybe, so that process never stops. So you've got to keep on learning, you've got to keep on evolving. And that is if you want to move with the times, right? Otherwise, the time's going to move you. So you don't want that to happen. So it's very important to keep updating yourself with whatever is happening around you. And it has become our responsibility as well, I must say. It's not just the responsibility of your teachers anymore. It's not just the responsibility of your parents anymore. It's not just the responsibility of your educators anymore. Responsibilities is yours. Why? Because you have everything at your disposal. At your disposal, I beg your pardon, these days, right? We have information readily available. Literally, we can educate ourselves. We can do courses online, whether it's a data sciences course, whether it's something to do with arts, whether it's something to do with maths, whether it's something to do with humanities. You literally have everything at your disposal. So no reason why you should not be up with the times. And again, work itself is transforming. The job market is changing at a really, really hectic and a really, really fast pace, right? As you would have heard by a lot of people, this generation may change 10 different jobs by the age of 40. And that's true as well. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am from SRCC. I did my BCom honors from there. All right. Then I went to Australia. I did my master's in finance and accounts from there. I have worked in the fields of accounting, in the fields of auditing, in the fields of finance, in the fields of logistics. Currently, I'm working in the field of business development, strategy, partnership, relationship management. So We are constantly doing that. The minute you start feeling that, okay, I'm kind of two things to do over there. First of all, you follow your passion, or you really understand, okay, there is not much for me to grow in this particular space. I want myself to grow, so let me challenge myself and let me discover something else, right? So that is what is happening. We have to prepare for jobs that do not exist as yet, and it may seem like, how do you prepare for something that you don't even know? It's not about you kind of predicting what jobs will be there. It's just making sure that you are developing those skills that will make you prepared for anything possible, right? Um, Influencers, gaming, YouTuber, content creator, thriving careers that did not even exist before. Before a lot of things came into play. Now you have a phone, you can make a reel. You have your internet at your disposal. Very easily, you can just be an influencer, a YouTuber, content creator, some things that are really really doing, right? So again, you know while everything else is happening in this world, whatever is happening, we have kind of relied or started relying more and more on technology, right? So as you can see, 90% of people don't go to second page of a Google search, and 50% don't go beyond the first three search results, because everything is becoming so convenient. We are allowing technology to select information for us. Everything is becoming really really easy, and this is what is happening, and this is what is going to happen as well in the future. Predicted scenario for the next year, which is 2023, 9% of the workforce will be deployed in jobs which do not exist today. So literally 3-4 months from now, you're going to be seeing these changes, which are already happening, believe me, which you, I'm sure, are aware of as well. 37% will require radically changed skill sets. AI will greatly affect the IT and the financial sectors, as we can see from the poll that just happened some time back. AI is going to take over these things, and it's going to just develop and develop and develop and keep on developing. It will replace most repetitive and mechanical jobs which can be easily done, right? A big change over here from moving on from STEM to STEAM, right? So, based on purely math, science, engineering, are vulnerable to automation. So it's very, very imperative to move now from the STEM to STEAM, by adding certain skills. And these are the skills that I'm talking about. These are the skills that you need to develop. See, these skills cannot be taught to you. They have to be developed by you. All right. So by adding communication skills, critical thinking skills, multidisciplinary understanding, that makes a person so much more valuable and so much more difficult to replace, because trust me, these skills aren't easy, and they just make you sharper, and they make it easier for you to adapt. They make it easier for you to grasp on situations and anything and everything that is happening right in front of you. You are not overwhelmed by it. You are moving along with it. All right. At the same time, someone who graduates in pure art stream must have an understanding of technology to stay relevant in the evolving world as well. Nothing works in isolation anymore. We have to keep up with the times. There is no other option, right? Again, something that we saw in the last 2 years, just as simple as you attending your classes online. If teachers did not evolve into understanding how the platform and how education would take place online, it would have been a devastation, right? So this is something that we really need to focus on, and skills that you need. So we divide these into three different skills. All right. So there are these foundational literacy, how students apply core skills to everyday tasks. And these are the skills that you can learn, right? These are the skills that you learn through your studies, through reading, through talking to people, through information, through job experiences, etc., which are literacy, numeracy, scientific literacy, ICT literacy, financial literacy, cultural and civic literacy. And this is what education should be all about as well. We should be making sure that we are developing these foundational literacies into ourselves to use them in the future. Then we talk about the competencies. They are the skills that you need to develop by making sure that you are applying yourselves in that manner, in a manner where you are learning multiple things. Your brain is actually active into understanding everything. So critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, collaboration, these are those competencies that students use to approach complex challenges. And then we talk about the character qualities, how students approach their ever changing environment and how they interact with the environment as well. So curiosity, initiative, adaptability, leadership, social and cultural awareness, which comes from within you. These are all skills, or these are all qualities that they come from within you through your empathetic side, through the way you have been dealing with the world around you. All right. So these are the skills, these are the 21st century skills that will really make you stand out from the peers, from your peers. Everyone has enough knowledge these days. Everyone has a degree these days. Every company coming into any university knows that everyone is well academically. There is no doubts in that. It's just that these skills that really, really make you stand out, and they really, really help you push forward into an ever-changing world as well. And moving on, okay, so I had another slide. Let me just quickly just share that as well.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I am just trying to see, because one slide is there which has the job. All right, found it. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, so this is the slide I really wanted to just end this presentation mainly with. Uh, some jobs AI is likely to replace: telemarketing, bookkeeping, clerks, receptionists, couriers, proofreaders, market research analysts, retail salespeople, and jobs AI cannot replace, which are creative jobs: scientists, novelists, artists, complex and strategic jobs. CEOs, diplomats, economists. Then again, empathetic central jobs. AI cannot take over that. Teachers, doctors, nurses, etc. And another thing, talking about my example as well, I'll quickly just share this example with you, because I have seen this happen in my life as well. When I was in Australia, I had gone there to do my master's in finance and accounts. And every single year, all these foreign countries, they take out a certain demand for a particular job in that particular country. All right. So when I had gone to Australia in 2015, the demand for accountants in that particular year was, every year they were going to accept or give a residency to about 2,500 accountants who have done their degree in accounting. All right. So that was in 2015 when I was there. Fairly easy, demand was great. I came back to India by the end of 2019 in November. You will not believe the demand for accountants went from 2,500 to 85 in the year 2019. All right, so this is not something that we are just assuming is happening. Trust me, you don't need accountants these days. I have studied accountancy. You don't need that these days. You have softwares where companies can take care of their own finances. Uh, Doing your own taxes is so easy. It's so easy. It's so straightforward. You literally do not need any accountants these days. So, this is what is going to happen in the future. And again, as yet unknown jobs, they are all going to be there as well. Some key jobs that we have seen, I'm sorry, smart building technologists, biomed technologists, genetic counselors, digital rehab counselors, careers that will continue. Like we have seen CEOs, service advisors, designers, journalists, artists, musicians, choreographers, etc. All right. So this is where we are heading, and this is what will be happening as well. So, a liberal arts and sciences degree obviously will give you all of that. And I'll just quickly, wrap it up with showing how exactly a degree like that works. So, a liberal education degree will give you the freedom to choose what you want to study. It's the study of natural sciences, social sciences, humanities, because a lot of times there's a big misconception that liberal refers to arts only. That's not the case. Interdisciplinary approach. This is where the entire, focus is there these days. Like I was saying, nothing works in isolation these days. If you're studying in English, it's very important for you to know about technology as well. That's why we have these interdisciplinary, everything that you study will be in a major and minor combination, right? So when someone comes into Ashoka University, it's a 3-year program broken up into 6 semesters, at the end of which you get your foundation, at the end of which you get your BA honors or a BSc honors, right? Now, When you come into the university for the first 3 semesters out of 6 semesters, you only study these 9 foundation courses. We make it mandatory for everyone to study. And this is where the freedom comes as well. You explore everything. So these are some subjects from various courses like mind and behavior is psychology, economics is economics, rate books is history, mathematics, sciences, etc. Right? Only when you move on to the fourth semester do you declare one major and one minor along with 2 co-curriculars. Your majors can come from the list of majors, your minors can come from the list of minors and the list of majors, and 2 co-curriculars along with that. Now, if you see, everything that we teach you is in that combination. There are these list of interdisciplinary majors as well, which are already a combination of a major and minor. All right, so you don't have to elect any minor along with that. But we give the students the freedom. So we've had students in the past who have done a psychology along with the computer sciences and are working in technology for that matter right now. We've had students in the past who have done a psychology with entrepreneurship and are working in product development right now. We've had students who have done a computer sciences, BSc computer sciences, and are working with Google as software engineers as well. So literally, you don't even need an engineering degree these days to become an engineer. A BSc computer sciences from a good university, which really emphasizes a lot on research and practical approach to the things that you study, can give you the same opportunities. But yeah, it's very important for everyone to understand that isolation studying does not work anymore. You studying just economics and just doing that, it will take you forward, but not till that level. Studying something like economics and computer sciences, studying something like economics and finance for that matter. Why is it that we don't have accountancy as a subject anymore? Because like I said, you really don't need to study accountancy anymore, but finance will always be very, very relevant, because it's something that AI will keep on doing, but we'll need people over there, right? And along with the major and minor, 2 co-curricular courses from art, film, performing arts, languages, photography. And trust me, when you are studying in this manner, when you are studying in these combination of subjects, automatically what will happen is that your critical thinking, problem solving, communication, social awareness, cognitive skills, all these skills start growing. All right, you start developing all these skills because you are using yourselves and applying yourselves in such a manner. All right. So yeah, this is probably it from my side, Richa. I think I'd just wrap up with this last slide, which was the major and minor. And anything right now? If anyone wants to
हाँ तो तू ही करेगा कच्चा कच्चा
sorry, I think
I'm so sorry. Please do mute yourselves. I'm just asking the people who've just joined. Yeah, thank you so much, Shaurya. That's, I've been taking screenshots of some of the wonderful slides that you're sharing, but we also have a lot of questions. So let me
great.
quickly get you on to answering some of these questions. So some of them are admissions related. As you can imagine, people are really panicked about admissions right now. So first one, in the absence of having the IB predictive before the deadline or for Ashoka round 1. And even in other curriculum, some people are waiting for the December exam before they get the predictives. Can one self-predict? And if yes, what is a good score?
All right. So yes, you can self-predict definitely. CBSE students can self-predict their grades, not a problem at all. For IB and Cambridge, we need something from the counselors as well. So if your counselors can provide you with that information, that will be the best. But this time we have opened the self-prediction option for everyone. So if you have gotten your scores, and if it's not mandatory for you in that application to give the school self-predicted grade as well, then you can totally apply. But if you feel that you would like to wait for the school to give you, then trust me, either of the rounds, round 1 and round 2, both are equally good to apply. You get your decisions really, really early. So yeah, you have the option or to self-predict your grades in the application itself, not a problem at all.
Wonderful. And this is actually a follow-up question from my side. So they're self-predicting, and last couple of years, Ashoka has been giving unconditional offers. So how are you evaluating the predicted grades then?
All right. So, like you said, we have been giving out more unconditional offers in the past 2 years than conditional offers, simply because we knew how COVID had struck and, the things that had been happening because of that. But I'll just say that, someone who receives a conditional offer, usually the condition is set as match your expected grades or your predicted grades, and we'll convert that into a full offer. And I also, just make sure that I am emphasizing this on this enough that if you have given a predicted score as 90% and you get somewhere like 86, 87, that's totally all right. You don't have to fear at all. Last year, I had this really, really sweet and very, very smart girl from DPS Sector 45 in Gurgaon itself who scored an 88 and her predicteds were 91. And she called me up crying, hysterically, thinking that, her thing is not going to happen. 2 days later, she got a confirmed offer. So trust me, our aim to look at your academics is just to make sure you're able to cope up with everything that is happening at the university. Nothing more than that.
That's very, very heartening to hear, Shaurya. Thanks so much.
Mhm.
Okay, quickly going on to the next question. So, what percentage of Ashoka grads end up heading for a postgraduate degree directly after their undergrad?
Right. I would say a good number, a very, very good number. I would say about 50% probably go for 40% go for their placements. A good 30 to 40% again go for their masters, higher education, a fellowship, a PG diploma course, all these options. And then a good 5 to 10% also go their own entrepreneurial route where we help them into, starting their own businesses, where we have to incubate something, we do that as well. So I would say a good 40%, at least 30 to 40% every year goes for their higher education.
Good, great to hear. So, Shaurya, here's a question about the performing arts minor. It's an interesting question. It's just general. Diksha is asking, how is the performing arts minor? Is it just like fun and games? Is there a lot of, academic rigor to it? How does that work?
All right. So, like the entire combination subjects suggests, it's a minor, right? So we are not going very deep into it. I'll tell you how it works. Basically, to complete a major, you have to do 12 credits into that particular subject, right? For a minor, you have to do about 4. Now we'll give you an array of options in your performing arts that you can do, from dance studies to music studies to theater studies to performing arts, etc. And you can pick up your own things that you want to study. So you have to study any 4 of them. And trust me, it's going to get reflected on your transcript. So, if you're looking into probably heading into that direction, that will really help you out as well. But yeah, it's not really, really where we go deep into that because it's only supposed to complement your major. But yes, we do teach you what you want to learn, and it's as I would say, it's quite academic in its nature as well.
Great. So that's wonderful to hear. Now, Dipali's question, I think, is sort of answered. How can an IB student get admission in Ashoka? But if you quickly want to cover that.
Sure, absolutely. So the admission process for an IB student, for a Cambridge student, for a CBSE student, for an international student applying from overseas is all the same. The process is an application-based process. We look at your 10th marks, your 11th marks, 12th expected grades, or your predicted grades only. We don't require 12 final board marks to give you an offer to Ashoka. Extracurriculars are looked at. When I say extracurriculars, your hobbies, how you spend your free time, whether you're an artist or a musician only for yourself, everything is looked at very, very closely. So make sure you share everything with us. It makes for a very good profile. 2 personal essays in the application and 1 letter of recommendation that is accepted, and only 1 is accepted by us. Again, it's not mandatory, but please give an LOR with your application. I cannot tell you how important it is, for an LOR to come. It adds a lot of credibility to an application. After you submit the application, we invite you for an assessment, which is the Cambridge Thinking Skills Assessment. We only test for your problem solving and your critical thinking abilities. 40 questions, 90 minutes, followed by an on-the-spot essay for 30 minutes, no word limit in that. And then on the basis of these things, we shortlist you for an interview, after which we come back with your final decision.
Right. So, sorry, am I on mute? Yeah, there. So I've just actually put the sample paper over here. Someone was asking for the sample paper based on the Cambridge Skills
I'm just
Assessment.
gonna have
Also, there are, Ankit, if you could just put that Blackstone link also, there are certain places, or the Oxford link, where you can go and get the past Cambridge TSA papers.
Absolutely. Yes, Rich, definitely. And I always suggest this as well. So I would tell everyone and advise everyone, please listen to Richa about this. They have a lot of such resources. And I would say open up YouTube as well. Just open up YouTube and see how to crack these questions. See, the main idea behind this assessment is just to understand how to crack these questions. That's it. You don't require a lot of preparation. 2, 3 sample papers are more than enough to, just make sure you do well in these assessments.
To get your sense. We also run a TSA test prep program.
Excellent. Excellent.
And that I'll share as well for, UCL also needs it, Oxford also needs it. So we run a couple of rounds. I'll share that later as well.
Please also share that with me, Richa. I'd love to share that with more students who are applying to Ashoka who would be looking forward to such things. Yeah,
Thank you, Shaurya. I'll do that.
no worries.
Here's Dipali, when do offers come by? I think the timeline very clearly on Ashoka says that. So I'll just put the timeline over here as well.
Sure.
So
I'll
for
just, yeah, I'll just let everyone know the decision for the first round will come by the 20th of January. Decision for the second round is coming somewhere in the month of March. So literally the first two rounds, we give you offers very, very early in the year.
Yeah, so if you quickly go to the website, I really like how
Yes.
neatly it's been placed out for you over here. So you'll be able to see when the decision notification is going to come by. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, all right. So another question here. What's your view on add-on subjects along with economics as a major? Will it give a child an edge over a vanilla economics degree?
See, uh, you
And
have to add on a subject. There is no other option only. Like I was saying, everything that you study happens in a major and minor combination. There is no option for you to just study a BA economics. You'll have to choose economics with entrepreneurship or in economics, international relations, economics, pol sciences, economic computer sciences. So depending on where your interests lie, you have to choose that as your minor. Economics finance is a wonderful course, that a lot of students from the commerce background take, and a lot of students who are looking to get into fintech take as well. So just studying economics is not an option anymore, especially at Ashoka. It's definitely not an option. You have to have a secondary minor as well.
wonderful. I think this is then, I think, sort of the second last question I have over here, because I think we're running a little over time.
All right.
Advaita is asking, and she's asked a couple of times, that can we give more than 3 activities to Ashoka? I think the application only allows for 3 activities.
Only 3 now. Earlier we had 5, but now only 3. I'm so sorry, Advait. Group them together, make Google presentations, share everything neatly in that, share links of that Google presentation in the description box. All right. We are giving you the entire opportunity to give as much information as possible. Don't just stick to documents or certificates. Make Google presentations, share everything, photos, videos, testimonials, whatever.
And then the last question I think is from Ayan. Where did it go? I had just seen it. Yeah. Where do economics majors go post their graduation? What do economics? I think economics is also a very tough major at Ashoka, isn't it?
It is, and it is one of the most sought after majors, I would say, as well. So, students, first of all, I would also suggest that the placements brochure for last year has been updated on the website. So please have a look at that. You'll understand exactly from people from what streams, what courses are going into which companies. But see, someone from an economics major, they are getting into management consulting, they're getting into banking finance, they're getting into research development, they're getting into technology as well. So someone who's doing an economics, trust me, the career opportunities are limitless. There is no end to it. Whether you want to be into analytics, whether you want to be into technology, whether you want to be into consulting management, literally you can do whatever you want after an economics degree these days.
Great. Now there are 2 more questions. I had said last one, but I think these are important questions, so I'll allow them to be asked. So Diksha is asking, what is a good SAT score to apply? Do we have to give the Ashoka aptitude test?
The Ashoka aptitude is mandatory. Whether you give us the SAT, ACT, the CUET, these are all optional. We accept all of them, but you will still be giving the Ashoka assessment. There is no cutoff for any particular score, so we don't suggest any good scores. I'll tell you, between the SATs, ACTs, CUETs, and the assessment that you take for Ashoka, the best score is taken into consideration. So if you've scored well in your SATs and you feel that you have tanked your AAA or your Ashoka assessment a bit, then we will look at your SAT scores. So if you have the SAT scores, do share that with us, regardless of whether you feel it's a good score or not, because anyway, the best score is going to be taken into consideration.
Right. So finally, there is one about the academic level. And I think actually this must be relevant to a lot of people, because people keep saying that you have to be a really high scorer to get through Ashoka. So it says, I'm told, unless you're a high achieving student academically with 95% above, one doesn't stand a chance. Please, can you give an idea on what weightage is given on different aspects?
We are looking at the entire profile of a student. We have very openly rejected students with above 95 percentages as well. That's not the selecting criteria as all. The only thing that we are looking at from your academics is to make sure that when you come into the university, you're able to cope up with the rigorous academics over here. Because Ashoka is a very, very rigorous university when it comes to academics. A lot of research, a lot of work will be going on. So, we just want to make sure that you are able to cope up with everything that is being taught to you. There are no cutoffs. We are looking at your trend in your academics, 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's why we are taking all 3 years. And then apart from that, what you do in your free time, how well are you able to communicate and express your ideas, they all come through the application, through your extracurriculars, through the LOR, through the essay, through the assessment, through the on-the-spot essay. So literally, weightage of academics probably is just say 20-25%, 20-25% for your extracurriculars, another 30% for your essays, which are probably the most important component in an application. Trust me, even if you're not a good scorer, but your essays resonate with the people who are reading your application a lot, you will make it through. First and foremost aim should be to make it through the shortlisting of the interviews, because once you make it to the shortlisting of the interview, you already know that the people are interested in you. Then it's just tallying all the information.
Right. So I do thank you so much, Shaurya. Thanks for being here. And I've got Anju Deoskar also waiting. So, I'm really sorry, Anju, for taking time, but thank you for answering all the questions so patiently. Shaurya, we'll connect with you again, and do share any contact details for students if they have further questions. There, it's right up there.
I'll just share it in the chat box. Thanks a lot. Thanks
That would
for
be
this
great.
wonderful session, and looking forward to having more such sessions. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Anju, sorry, I was looking for your name and I couldn't see it. So I was just sort of panicking that is she not there? Really sorry about about the.
I just realized my name was just a little smiley. Probably I would have changed it.
Oh,
But
that's
that was me.
I saw
Yes.
someone with the name of a smiley just joined. Anju, thank you so much for joining us and for making the time. Shaurya, maybe you need to stop sharing the screen. Shaurya, are you there?
Um,
Yeah, there. Okay, wonderful. So Anju's been with us last year as well with a wonderful session about Flame University. Over to you, Anju. People are waiting to hear from you.
yes. Thank you so much. A very, very good evening to everyone. Thank you, Richa, for having me here. So today, we've just been talking about for a long time, what is the importance of liberal education and why is it so good? So I really like the question, the topic that has been given to me today about who's the student who will do really well in liberal education. So, so it's just a little tweak in the perspective, very interesting, because I think today in India, everybody is talking about the national education policy. Everybody is talking about where the landscape is changing in education. So when we talk about, I think, who is the most suited student for liberal education? So in general, I would say it suits everybody because, the program is developed in such a way that there's a room for everyone there. But what would I focus on? So if you're not probably a student who really know what you want to do, you're not yet sure, then that is the point one where, because today I'm just going to be 50, next year you tell me, give me 5 options. I'll be so confused just with 5 options. And these are students who are just maybe 17, 18 years old, and they're going to make a very, very important decision based on little or no knowledge, based on maybe a different sort of influence, or maybe their own research. We don't know. We only figure that out after we've done whether it was more suited or not. So if you're a person who's really not sure yet what you want to do, or you have idea about multiple things, but yet you've not made up your mind what you're going to do, that definitely is a place, is a student who should definitely look at liberal education. So liberal arts colleges are a great place to get a well-rounded education. So you can try a few things out in the first year, maybe declare what you want to study as a major. Also, liberal arts colleges tend to be, smaller in terms of the group size of students with specialization area, because you offer so many, smaller groups of people are in a particular discipline. So if a student who is, who knows that, I have certain traits where I can't get lost in a very large number of students in a large cohort. So this is again a beautiful place where I think who prefers more engagement with their professors, more face-to-face time, this is definitely a great option. Then the students who feel that, liberal education is a place where, I'm just going to study humanities, then that, of course, is a big myth. This is a place where very decent, respectable math, science courses are offered in the universities. So if you want to go into maybe highly technical fields, such as maybe robotics or engineering discipline, then probably you should look at a university which has more robust facilities and faculty in these areas. But if you just want to study a math, you want to study a science along with something else, then this is a student who can definitely look at. And let me tell you, and I was really impressed by Shaurya's presentation. There's so many careers that are coming up where, you want a different perspective from students to come and see that, okay, even if you're a humanities student, you must have some sort of technical understanding or know-how of the technology, or vis-a-vis, if you're a technical student, you must have a know-how of, what social sciences or these areas have. Another thing very interesting that I feel is students who are really preparing to go and do their post-graduation, or as in the West, they say the graduate school. Then liberal education is a fantastic option for those students, people who are sure that they want to study their master's or postgrad, because I think that the kind of education and the environment that will embrace you, and the opportunities that will be given to students in a liberal education will be phenomenal. Because of course, there are two things. One is on what the university offers, and I'll just I'm keeping it generic, not centric to Flame University, though Flame offers a plethora of options. So students, when they discover or pick up some different disciplines during their undergrad, and I can give you plenty examples. Somebody who studied applied mathematics with maybe psychology, but is working in, has gone to study law. I mean, this is crazy. So when you know that you have got such deep understanding of research, you can research, write, because this is something, these are the skills that you will require in your postgrad education. You should be very familiar and good with your research. So this was just basic understanding about who should fit in. Now, if I have to just maybe give out certain, elaborate on just a couple of points. Number one, somebody who, like I just mentioned, interdisciplinary approach to learning. So liberal arts education intentionally integrates different areas of studies. It exposes students to a very wide range of subjects. A business major can have a minor in arts, or maybe somebody who has math major can have a taste of sociology. This broad education essentially will prepare these students to succeed in whatever career they choose. It's going to develop, these students are going to, I think it will develop people that can have view about things, and also have multiple perspective, no matter what their field is. You may have studied a particular subject, but you'll still have a perspective about something that you've not studied. And that's the whole beauty of studying into a liberal education. Somebody who's not boxed into, just a core curriculum where you just wrote, they say read, wrote, and repeat. Like it's everything else, then read, wrote, and repeat, right? The other point that I'd mentioned already was a smaller group. So now, why smaller group? Because school education and university education is very, very different. So majority of liberal education universities, like I said, are small. They're, as compared to the major public university. In addition, it creates, I think, a very intimate family feel or a camaraderie on campus. The smaller size of the cohort also creates multiple opportunities which are more personalized. It's individual learning experiences. It gives more opportunity. Now just imagine if you have this, you may study. So now there are two things. One is the options that you get in the university. The other is how the options are also delivered. your performance in these areas would be far more superior than maybe if you lost in a really, really big university, which has too many students doing the similar sort of things. Getting to know your faculty, professors knows you, of course. You know the professors, but professors know you. And when I say this, I'm not talking about just the names. The professors, they will know your strength. Okay, they'll know what your challenges are. They'll probably help you find your passion. It's a really overrated word, passion. I mean, suddenly everybody's passionate about everything. You know, it takes half a life to really find your passion. Doing things well is not passion. Passion is something. So during the journey, if a faculty who's guiding you in a closer group may be able to facilitate or help you really find, or maybe at least get onto path of finding your passion. Then another thing is, and I see there were a lot of IB related questions being asked in the previous after the previous session. So when it comes to IB education, and now of course the newer CBSE also follows pretty much similar disciplines at least. So if you are a person who is fond of taking initiative, doing some research, okay, then I think, or maybe to have a very interactive way of learning and teaching in a school, then again, this is a place where the students are really going to thrive, but not just survive, because it's a very dynamic setup. The way you read, write, and learn in a university is way different than how you read and write in a school. So that transition is so major, but then in a setup like the students, I think, find it very, very comforting. This is very interesting is, the students who like to be exposed to really cool things, okay? Now, going to a class, studying, giving your exams is a very regular and understood thing in any school or college probably. So students here are constantly exposed to very, very interesting creative concepts and new experiences within the university. Whether, it's an opportunity to study abroad, or it's a community engagement, or maybe conducting, a peer review research with the professor, which is often probably, done only at a very graduate level school. So students continuously have opportunities to explore, to take risks, to try new things. If you're a student like that, this is the university, because you don't get these opportunities anywhere. If it's a conventional university, it does not allow you these things. The other thing that comes to my mind is, today everybody's talking about, innovation and, critical thinking and stuff like that. So through again, I use this word, intentional experience and exposure, Flame offers, or liberal education universities, I think, offer students with an all-important problem solving and critical reasoning skills. They focus on how do you think, how do you question a question, and not what do you think and what's an answer. The answers can be different to same question if you actually allow people their freedom, right? So this is the kind of setup. If you are a person who's curious to learn those things, or do you have a dominant nature of learning things like this, or a student who's questioning a lot, then this is the place. So instead of memorizing facts and then forgetting the information just by end of your semester, here students learn to examine, they think, they connect ideas, they research, they synthesize, they make decisions, they do predictions. All of this, these are your opportunities. Are you a student who want to learn this, or who has this dominant style of learning? Then I think liberal education gives you a great platform, because if it's just to do with rote learning and writing, then I think you should run away from that education. And I heard one of my colleagues say this in few other sessions. So these are certain valuable skills practiced and reiterated throughout your entire 4 years or 3 years of college experience. And let me tell you, students, these are very necessary skills to actually innovate or create meaningful things in life, or something that you think will change the world or change self. Forget about everybody talks of changing the world, again, overrated. Can you change self and just the immediate environment? So these are a few things. And another thing very interesting, may not be directly connected with your academics. So when people, you join the university, what is it that's going to stay with you forever? It's going to be the strong alumni bond, so this is one thing that happens again in, these future in new age universities like Flame. And you are connected with your alums right when you step into the campus. In your first year, you will be connected with your alumni. After you finish, you become an alumni, you are into that network, and you're still supporting people who probably are in the campus. So it's a beautiful thing. So, and I give this example to a lot of students, and you should be, and you'll remember this also, I'm sure. So I'm working for Flame. This is not my college. It's not my college is where I studied. So, the importance of alumni is your college where you study. That's what's going to be with your life. And this absolutely, some may, like I said, it's slightly disconnected to the academics, but this is a very, very important thing. And I think somebody who's looking at the careers of the future, so you've got to do education of the future, which is pretty much liberal education, where the employers know that we are getting people from a very, very well education background. These students have great communication skills. They are critical thinkers. They can write well. They can present well. They can question. They can challenge a statement that has been given to them. So this is what you're actually building from the liberal education. Apart from that, a very, very important thing is that this is a place where the three pillars of education, which is number one, your faculty, where, because you go to a university not only for infrastructure or facilities they have. I think the most important infrastructure is a soft infrastructure of a university, which has to be robust, is the faculty. If you think you are going to be a person who will find a mentor in your faculty, and these faculty are from a background that supports the future education, right? Number two is the program that you're going to do be research driven? And number three, is it going to be a diverse community? Because that is what you're closest to the real life. This university is going to be just a laboratory where you come, you experiment, you fail, you'll fall, you'll redo, you'll learn, you'll unlearn. And when you finish all of this in your 3 years, along with studying your major and minor, which the whole world just focuses on just the major minor, but I think university life is so much more to that, so much more to that. And with this, probably I'd love to take some questions, Richa, if I have.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a couple of questions here, and people, please feel free to add any questions you have in the chat. So the question I have is on computer science, particularly, that, often students find it, they're unsure about studying computer science in a liberal arts environment. And I believe it's a newer course at Flame, is it? So can you just give people a sort of a view on how computer science students benefit and what kind of jobs do they get around doing?
Sure. So, see, computer science, I'll just say, compare it with maybe a little conventional setup of computer science, and then I'll tell you what we offer. If you're doing a computer science in a university where you start studying computer science from day one, and you just focus on that particular subject, versus a liberal education university like Flame, at Flame probably, I think the most important thing is you will learn your coding, you will learn all the courses that a computer science students must learn, because we're giving you a degree which is UGC's approved. Okay, so we are covering the content, right? But I think a student will have an advantage where you can take a few steps back, you think through the solution and design, or make a code which probably requires a little bit of more understanding of the society, because end of it, what are you who are you designing these codes for? Humans to use. It's just not for the machines. And here I'll just take a second to share my screen, if you just allow me, please.
Yes.
Sorry, 1 second. Computer science. Okay, let's look at the computer science. So now this is on the website, students. So we at Flame, we offer computer science as a degree. We also offer computer science and design. And we also offer computer science as a minor, where maybe you're studying finance as major, but you've taken computer science as a minor. So this is the new program that I'm just quickly going to share with you. So what do you really study in a computer science with design? Now you take, this is an interdisciplinary program. So you study computer science and design for your 3 or 4 years of your undergraduate program. You're literally doing all of these programs, which are essentially part of the computer science, along with the elements of designs, where you are probably studying maybe, new media immersive designs, or design conversations. So you combine design with computer science for a 4-year program. That's what you study. And if you are to look at probably just the computer science, then it's, again, you can study as a major, as a minor, or as an honors. So these are the 3 things. So look at this. And the beauty is that you don't have to declare it before you get your admissions. You come to the university, you finish your 1 year, and then you declare what you want to study. So I hope I answered my question there.
And the honors will be like a higher level than the major, am I right?
Yes, yes. So in honors, you're not going to take a minor. You study only computer science. You do not take a minor. Whereas if you're taking computer science as a major, you have to pick up a minor. Or if you have something else as a major, you may have computer science as a minor, or you have computer science. So look at the options you're getting. It is really phenomenal.
It's outstanding. And I can think of a couple of my students who are just absolutely fit for this. And one of them has this question over here also saying, what are the most important things you look for in a student's profile applying for computer science?
So in computer science, we're definitely looking the eligibility first, which is you must have mathematics in your 11th and 12th. That's your first prerequisite for computer science. So for students who do not have mathematics in 11th and 12th will not be given this course, because obviously, the course requires you to have studied maths at the +2 level. And rest of the selection criteria, the fee structure, the entrance, everything is same exactly, because at Flame, when people apply to the university, they are applying for an undergraduate program. And after the first year of the foundation courses, they declare what major, minor, or honors program they want to study.
Right. So that's great, actually, because I really think that that's a very unique program, that combination of computer science and design. I have a related question. Kanchi, sorry, just give us 5 minutes. We're just wrapping this up. I know she's waiting in the
Sure, no worries, no worries. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kanchi. Yeah. So so the question really is that if you said maths is a prerequisite, now CBSE allows you to study computer science without maths in 11th and 12th, but that doesn't work, right?
No, that doesn't work. Because see, this is again the kind of rigor you're going to have here in this program. I mean, there are possibilities where students may pick up in the first year they take some foundation courses for maybe a few other of our programs, but not for computer science specifically, because I think it is the kind of rigor it has. It will just leave a student struggling at many points.
Right, thank you. Last question I have, Anju, for you, which is about whether if a student who has done SAT is exempt from the Flame entrance test or not.
Yes, so number one, we accept the SATs, and someone who's taken the SATs will not give the Flame entrance aptitude test, just the written part. However, we also have on-the-spot essay and the interview as part of our selection process. So that's something even an SAT student will have to do.
And is there an SAT range that you're looking at? Is there something you can share?
So again, I would say, a 1300 plus or maybe 1250 is, I think somebody can
reasonably apply.
Yes, should be applying. And our deadline for the first round is 4th of December. That's the early round application. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it coincides with a lot of students' final exams in school. But that this is how it is. Then there will be
Yeah.
pre-boards, then there will be
No,
boards.
but that's the deadline. You can still fill in the application. Like, you don't have to put the deadline, of course. Yes.
Yeah, can I just barge in for a moment?
Yes,
So
Tej.
we would also like to inform that we are having a Flame virtual open day on the 19th, and the students can really take part in that.
Solid.
It's going to be really beneficial. It will take place from 11 a.m. Till 2:30 p.m.
Yes.
So I've sent you the link also, Richa, which
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
share
yeah.
with the
You
students.
can just see that. Yeah, that's very nice. I have one more question. Sorry, Anju, I didn't know I said
Yes.
bye, but Sapna has this question, which is what is the general academic and co-curricular profile you are looking for, say for an international relations degree?
So, saying this again, everyone who applies only for an undergraduate program. Once you're in the university, barring a few courses where mathematics should be a prerequisite, you can literally take any course. So there is no special requirement for an international studies or public policy, or for that matter, any subject that we offer. And we offer 26 majors and 24 minors. There's huge amount of options available to students. The only thing that you should be focusing on is that please come prepared for your feet aptitude test, because it is getting slightly competitive, and it just feels little disappointing when students aspire to join, but then they don't come prepared that much. And yeah, so it's not a very, very tough entrance. We're looking at a very holistic profile. We're looking at some of your academic score. We're looking at non-academic performance. We're looking at an interview. We're looking at our aptitude test. So it's a amalgamation of 3-4 things. And please go to the website. The information is really very clear in the section.
The sample paper as well that you can
Yes.
look at, and we'll just upload the sample paper here as well.
Yeah, and like Neha just mentioned, so Saturday 11 to 2:30 we have our virtual open day. Those who cannot join us, please come to campus. Please come there. You're going to meet the dean, you're going to meet the students, some of the faculty heads. Get your parents along if anybody is serious. So it really will solve a lot of other related questions to Flame.
Yeah, I've shared the link for the virtual open day here. So guys, please do join it. That's one wonderful thing COVID has done, that everything can be done.
Yes. Yes.
So that's great. Yeah, Anju, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. And I got a lot of insights from Flame over here as well. So
Thank you, Richa, and hi, Kanchi. Bye. See you. Bye-bye.
welcome, Kanchi. And everybody, we are now moving to looking at Flame, which is a very different flavor, because now we are looking at interdisciplinary STEM courses, which I do believe that they have the flavor of a liberal arts university, but with, the rigor and perhaps the challenge of a STEM course. I won't say too much. I'm sure Kanchi is the best person to take you through it. Over to you, Kanchi.
Thanks, Richa. Honestly, I thought this would be more of an information session for students about STEM interdisciplinary courses. So my presentation is not about Plaksha. It's a general presentation which students I thought would gain from. And I thought that's what was expected of me, but I'll be very happy to answer Plaksha related questions as well. Okay. Great. So can I share my screen if it's okay with you?
Yes, Kanchi, you can go.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, 1 sec. I'm not able to. Okay. So my name is Kanchi Khanna, and I'm leading the admissions at Plaksha. Very happy to be here and very happy to engage with your students here. I just wanted to introduce something which is very new to India, which is the interdisciplinary engineering education. We all know that we have too many engineering colleges and institutions in India. In fact, there's been a huge focus on engineering education for the past decades in India. But sadly, the students who were taking up engineering were not really being challenged enough, right? There were no internships, there was no faculty talking about, the new technologies. It was very dated curriculum. So when we were setting up Plaksha, that question, again came up to us saying, in this cluttered space, there's so many, we have more than 3,700 engineering colleges and institutions here. Do we really need another one? But there was a resounding yes from everywhere, because we needed a truly interdisciplinary and a lean curriculum that really prepared students for today, for the future of today. And that's how we went about setting up Plaksha. So Plaksha looks at some realities of this world that I'd like to bring forward to students. And I agree with Anju when she says that when you are doing computer science or any other, tech course, you're basically designing solutions for problems that are human in nature, right? It's really the grand challenges of the world that we need to solve. And those are not some that we need to, they're beyond the scope, let's say, of human potential. We need technology to solve those. It's not possible for us to solve just by ourselves. So whatever tech solutions are coming out today are really very humanistic. Yeah, there are solutions to very humanistic problems. So if you look at engineering education, which has been so in the last few decades, it's really students studying a particular curriculum and developing technical skills. But what we really need now is students to not just engage with curriculum, but also content which they create. So it doesn't have to be just content which is there already, but creating new content. That's very important, because the problems earlier that students were dealing with were very well-structured kind of problems, which had a single correct or not correct answer. But now the problems themselves have become so complex that we need students to have, or whoever the problem solver is, to have multiple perspectives and arrive at multiple solutions. Some of them may be very, very effective and some may not be so effective, but that's what we need to find, solutions to very ill-structured problems. So that's the challenge in front of us these days, that the problems are not going to present themselves in a very simplistic manner, right? So what an interdisciplinary education in tech space does is that it's really exposing students to many different disciplines at the same time. And like the previous speaker just mentioned, you have to look at problems very holistically, and you may need to integrate all your disciplinary skills to be able to arrive, at a solution. And learning in an interdisciplinary space is very personalized. It's very individual. It's very self-directed. The student has to really find their own knowledge, put it together, whatever they've learned across disciplines, across whatever they've come across, whatever they've engaged, to come up with solutions which can be shared on a larger scale. So the world today is also moving towards this, intersection and working at intersections of disciplines. We need a lot more creative solutions. We need to be adaptable, because it's a very dynamic world out there. What is there today may not even exist tomorrow. The careers that we are looking at are not even existing today. So if we are preparing students for that one job when they come out of their degrees, we are not really preparing them, because those jobs are going to become defunct very, very soon, and they'll have to adapt themselves. So what we really need to teach our students today is creativity and adaptability, and understanding that you cannot study in silos and you can't find solutions in silos. If you look at some of the companies, and I'd like I wanted to talk about the world of work these days. If you look at companies like Ford, they were the first movers in what they were doing. So there was this assembly line production. Every car that was coming out was was absolutely similar. There was a saying which said that, you can have a Ford in any color as long as it's black. So they were all coming out identical, but the world is moving towards a lot of personalization, a lot of individuality. So the Ford is now, of course, replaced by Tesla, and NASA is being replaced by SpaceX. That's because there is a lot of interdisciplinarity coming in. The world is really coming together, not working on functions which are restricted to a single utility, but working across not disciplines, but across functions, right? We have, of course, all of us looked at the industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. It brought us the computers, it brought computing to the forefront, and we thought we were really smart. But we are at the cusp now of the fourth revolution, where we are looking at cyber-physical systems. Some of the biggest medical solutions, even operations, are being done by robots. And all these mechanical systems, which we knew as machines earlier, are now connected with the internet. And that's why they are called the cyber-physical systems. So whoever studies today, whether they do CS, whether they do mechanical, whatever they do, they will encounter cyber-physical systems. A simple thing like a lift that we ride in up and down, even those are today connected to the internet. So it's not going to be just understanding machines. It's going to be understanding machines, and then how machines interact with other machines, and how machines can even function completely without any human intervention. So it used to always be, how are machines talking to other machines? How are the machines talking to us? But now it's really them working independently and not almost always working alongside us, right? So this is really fascinating, and it's opened up so many new avenues for us to work in. And almost all industries, whether it's the finance industry, did you know that even banks today call themselves tech companies, right? Even banking sector is becoming hugely technologized. So we cannot really just talk about any industry today without it having a backbone of tech. So to say that you can study any subject or any discipline without having been exposed to tech is going to be very difficult. And for technologists, it's going to be very important for them to build skills which also go beyond tech, right? They'll have to understand, take Tesla for that matter. They not only have to understand how the car reads the road conditions, but also understands the human behavior of the pedestrians who are crossing the path. So they will have to learn technology, but they will also have to build their humanistic and social skills towards it to become great technologists. Like I said, the world is really rapidly changing, and we are moving from digitization to automation to artificial intelligence. This huge technological leaps that the industry are taking. The question is our education system keeping up with it? I don't think so. It hasn't kept pace at all. And that's why our graduates who come out of this space are really very ill-equipped to function in the space today. And they have to, learn very fast and build skills very fast. One area where a lot of people ask us, what are the careers beyond a tech program? So I would say the best careers that you will find outside of, after a tech program are the ones that will solve the grand challenges of the world. The grand challenges, water security, agriculture, and these are also problems that India is facing with, whether it's pollution, whether it's mobility, the traffic problems that we are facing. And I want to tell young people over here that nobody is going to come and solve India's problems but us Indians. So if we continue to look to the West to solve our problems, we won't. So we need to build leadership here so that technological leaders will solve India's biggest problems. And that's where, the biggest job opportunities lie. This is just, this is just a few places I had thought that, we could sort of go through a few industries which are using technology. and really doing a great job of it. So hydroponics, indoor farming, it's an excellent initiative at the intersection of biotechnology, data analytics, cyber physical systems. It solves the problem of water consumption required and also keeps the nutritional proportion in place. People in Saudi Arabia are using it where water is so much in the real estate. Now, real estate consumes a lot of energy. What technology has come to come to its this thing help is that there are organizations like Facilio, a software company which is saving millions and millions of tons of carbon release every year, because it uses a simple dashboard that will have a lot of sensors in place. It'll check for energy usage and what kind of how much of labor is required wherever. So these are just some of the examples that we see in the industries where technology is being used to solve these problems of energy and stuff. So as we move to, and of course the students are all very, very interested in learning about blockchain, about cryptocurrency. All of that is really using decentralization. And these are very unique solutions. For example, Uber and Ola were boycotted in Bangalore very recently. And they created their own booking platform. So that's really called decentralization. And that's possible with very simple tech solutions. So even when it comes to artwork, we just imagine them to be as physical pieces, but they're no longer physical pieces. They're also NFTs today. But again, coming back to why is India lagging? Because our education really hasn't kept up with industry standards. Like I said, students don't get exposure. And it's after decades and decades that, IITs are now really looking at their curriculum and saying this doesn't work anymore. So we have to redo it. Our student ratios are really so huge that nobody gets a personalized education, and they're not able to really drive it the way they want to. It's very mass interaction and mass engagement. So Plaksha in itself offers 4 majors, which is computer science and artificial intelligence, one in robotics and cyber physical systems, biological systems engineering, data science, economics, and business. These are really based on very, very emerging technologies. They are latest, they are interdisciplinary. And again, like all liberal institutions, we allow our students to study the first year as a common core, and they can go on to decide their majors in the second year. I'll be happy to answer any questions after this.
So actually, before I ask people for questions, people do share any questions you have in the chat box over here. I know a lot of people are interested in applying to Plaksha, so please put your questions out there. But I have a question, Kanchi, about the Eco Data Science program, because I've had some students who've been wanting to do this Eco Data Science thing. Then they go and see either the Plaksha program or and they say, oh, this is too much tech. So is it like is the tech quotient quite high with that program as well?
No, it's not actually. But yes, it is a BTech program. So for the first 1 year, they'll do Common Core. Now, what they get to do in the first year is that they are being exposed to all 4 majors, a little bit of introductory level courses for all 4. So which means they will do a little bit of CS and AI. They will engage with a few physics courses with all that. So if they're not inclined to data science, they shouldn't take it up. So it's not a business and economics course, it's a data science course, and it's applications in physics, economics and business. So it is technical at some level. That's why it's a BTech degree.
Yeah, so that's important actually to know. So I like what you're saying is that if someone is primarily focused on economics, then it may not really be so relevant for them. But if they are also focused on data science, so then it's a fantastic course for them. Okay, yeah, okay, wonderful. Great. So that's a lot of clarity to get. And again, one of the things that one of the students is asking is about the admission process, because most BTech degrees go through a JEE, and often students who are who've not really taken the JEE are sort of, because signing up for the JEE is signing up for a lot in your grade 12. It's really
Yes.
not easy to do that. So how does the Plaksha admission process work, and what can a student do to really maximize their chances there?
Okay, so Richa, the eligibility, of course, is that you should be in your grade 12 or should have completed your grade 12, because a lot of gap year students also apply to us. And we are highly selective. We are very highly selective. The academic strength has to be there, and especially in math and physics. Now, what we do is, we are not asking you to take another test, which most engineering colleges do. We are saying you can share your any standardized test with us, and if you haven't taken a standardized test, we are okay with giving you an admissions offer on your board scores as well, right? So you could give us the standardized score or not. You could just apply with your predicted scores. Both are okay. So there's a longish form initially where we want you to write an essay for us, and we want you to share your extracurriculars and co-curriculars with us, along with your scores from 9th to 12th. It's very similar to most of the new age universities, but what we're looking for is different, right? We're looking for a very strong interest and potential in tech, which means that your co-curricular activities along with your academics become very important. So have you done projects which are related to maybe data analytics? If you've done any robotics project, if you've done any coding project, you've created an app, you've created a website, have you done any of that? That's very important for us. That shows us that you're genuinely a tinkerer and you're innovative. And believe me, our batch that has come in, many of them are entrepreneurs. They've already set up their platforms, and that's the kind of thing that we want. Now, after the application form, the shortlisted students are called for a virtual interview, virtual interaction, where there's an interview. There's also a challenge that we throw at them. And I was talking about the grand challenges of the world, right? So Plaksha's curriculum is based on these grand challenges. We want students to come in with social consciousness. We want them to come in wanting to solve problems for India, and maybe also for the world. So if they have ideas around water scarcity, how to solve that, traffic problems, mobilities, all of those, pollution, education, we would want students to come in, because when they come into Plaksha, they start working on projects from the very first semester, and they can continue working on whatever excites them for the next 4 years. And this goes parallelly along with your academics at Plaksha. So these projects are sometimes independent of it. And we encourage students to reach out to our founders, reach out to our faculty, reach out to our mentors, their juniors, their seniors, form teams, work on these projects. So there's true innovation happening. So to be able to pick up those kind of students who will do well in this kind of an ecosystem, we need really smart kids who are fascinated by technology and very keen to work in it. Like I said, we are very highly selective, and we would want students like that to come in. I don't know if it was too long an answer, but
No, I really wanted them to get a view of that, because
yeah.
I've been trying to understand that how can a student really equip themselves for this course. I have a question here, another question from a grade 11 student here saying, does getting through and completing the YTS make it easier to get admission in Plaksha, the summer program?
So if you've done YTS, you definitely are telling me that you have an interest and potential for technology. So one of your boxes gets checkboxed, right? So we know that you're interested, we know you're excited about it, and we know, and sometimes we even reach out to the YTS team to give us a recommendation for you. So definitely it's a positive if you've done YTS with us, but make sure that the scores you're giving us are strong, especially so in math. We look at the math consistency from 9 to 12. It's very important for us. And you were asking for SAT ranges last year, to the last speaker. We are this year deciding to look at only the math, the SAT math. And last year, our average was about 745 out of 800. We would want it in that range, and it's with every passing year, it's becoming more and more competitive. So a very strong SAT math score is something, not why just math, even JEE or ACT or whichever score they're giving us, but the math has to be really strong.
Right. And if I can add, the YTS is one of the leading STEM summer programs in India. I don't really know of another program in India which is at that level of, STEM rigor. So those of you who are looking at Plaksha, the YTS is a very good place to start. You also get to meet the Plaksha faculty, and like Kanchi saying, you also get to give them a view of your own STEM quotient when you do the program. All right, great. So that gives us a very good view, and thank you very, very much, Kanchi, for your time as always. I really enjoyed your presentation about the interdisciplinary STEM courses. Always one of our speakers today said that I think Shaurya said that any course is only valid for 5 years in the world today.
Absolutely.
And, it's a little bit unnerving, because by the time you finish your college education, you've just about finished 4 years, and you're saying, okay, this is now relevant for 5 years. But just seeing that interdisciplinary perspective, I think Plaksha does give you more flexibility to change yourself and sort of prepares you for, looking at the world in an interdisciplinary way. So I would say that degree would probably last you a little bit longer than that. So
I think what interdisciplinarity, getting exposed to it, does to students is it pushes your boundaries, and it makes you comfortable with uncertainty. So students learn to adapt very quickly. And any of these courses, I mean, I've heard whatever universities you have, all of them push students to become learners for life. But thank you so much. My pleasure. I love talking to you all, and happy to answer questions later as well. Thank you.
thank you, Kanchi. If you'll just share some contact details in the
I'll do that. I'll do that right away.
For people who have further questions, if they can reach out. And thanks again so much for your time. Right, so we do have Meenu with us now, and we are now looking again at liberal arts education. Like I was telling you, we visited Krea recently this year, and it was just totally delightful to see the campus and to see the students and to interact with them. We also went and saw their residential spaces that were really beautiful and amazing. So, but it's really far away from here. From Gurgaon, and but I know not everybody here is from Delhi and Gurgaon, so I'll leave it to Meenu to give you a view of Krea University in Sri City, and also a view about liberal arts education. Meenu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Richa. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session in the evening. I'm sorry for my bad throat, but I will try not to cough while talking and giving the presentation.
Thank you for your time in that case again.
Yeah. So as we have only half an hour, I will just start sharing my presentation. And I just joined 5 minutes, 10 minutes before, and I was listening to Kanchi, that who was talking about the interdisciplinary approach. So I think you already have had other universities who have already talked about the interdisciplinary approach. So I don't want to, go back to that. But yes, at the same time, one thing I would like to say that never think that when you talk about the liberal education, it is only for humanities students. It is for both humanities and sciences. Secondly, it is not only for those students who are undecided. Many times students feel that, you are not sure about what you are going to do. You cannot decide your major minor, go for liberal arts. 1 year you will do the foundation year, and second year you can decide. So it's not only for undecided people, it's for everyone, because that is the need of the hour. Because when we were talking about the future, and I was listening, Richa, when you said that somebody said within 5 years the course will change. I think 5 years is also a long time, very soon we will see it is shorter, and we have all seen what happened during pandemic. Overnight changes happen. Overnight we were told that, okay, do start working from home. So one has to have that kind of flexibility. Many people change their streams during this time. They change their work domain. So that itself is a very good example of how one needs to have the cognitive flexibility, when you are thinking about the new world. I always use the word new world. I don't use the word uncertainty, because uncertainty induces anxiety. We are entering a new world, and for this new world, you need just new set of skills. And another point which I would like to make, that as far as Krea is concerned, we are the pioneers in interwoven learning model. So when we talk about multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and the third thing is the interwoven learning model. When we say multidisciplinary, that means you're studying two subjects together. So if I say computer science and psychology, you are given an opportunity by the university to study these two subjects together, right? But maybe as a parallel, as two parallel roads, right? Interdisciplinary gives you some idea about how these two might be related to each other. But when I say interwoven learning model, that means studying computer science from the lens of psychology and studying psychology from a lens of, computer science. And every subject, every career, I should say, is very interwoven in nature. We are living in an interconnected world. You take any example. The other day I was reading a book, and they had given that the Nissan company, when they were coming up with driverless cars, if I ask you, whom you can think of, what kind of career you can think of with the company like automobile industry, who's coming up with driverless cars. So maybe the first answer, I don't have time to ask you people, but maybe the first answer which I generally get is AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, or people who are with good management skills. So what happened when these people came up with driverless cars? It did not become very popular. So they were just wondering, why in some countries it was taken, in some countries the concept was not welcomed at all. So they appointed anthropologists and sociologists who conducted a survey. And in this survey, they found that, every country is different. Their culture is different. The psychology of those people in different regions is different. Just think about, like, I'm based out of Delhi, so I can give that example. So just think about Delhi having a driverless car. Even if you ask me, when I cross the road, I just look right and left and I cross. I don't even like go up to the zebra crossing, and maybe some roads will not have zebra crossing only. So, so if it is a driverless car, then what about the ethics, philosophy? What about, those kind of empathetic situations? The machine is just given certain things. So this is how the entire world is interconnected. Only AI and robotics will not work. Yesterday, I was talking to a high court judge, and he said that, they must be having a seminar, and where they were thinking of introducing AI for very basic cases. And they said that, how is it going to happen? Because when I take a decision, when I, announce a certain decision, many times I take into consideration the body language of the person, and I try to empathize with the understanding the entire context. So, so when we talk about any kind of career, we have to see that, are you innovative enough to connect various dots from various disciplines? Are you able to think and reflect, from various perspectives? And there, comes the interwoven learning model. And when these people, as you can see on the screen, the edupreneurs like Kapil Vishwanathan, Vagul Sheshay, Kiran Mazumdar Shah, Anu Aga, they are all a combination of industrial and the education leaders. When they came together, they realized that there is so much of gap between the higher ed or the education system and the world of work. So there is no connection. People get a degree, but they are lacking in the skill set. So who is going to give the skill set? So of course, the higher ed should be able to give the skill set. And keeping that in mind, they came up with the concept of Krea, and where they gave an equal emphasis on education and the skill set which is required for future. So Krea University campus is basically situated in Sri City in Andhra Pradesh, which is 55 kilometers away from the Chennai airport. It takes around 2 hours. You can come either from the Chennai airport or Tirupati airport. And and it's Sri City, you must Google. It's basically comes under specific economic zone. It's a smart city, no residences. So as soon as you enter, you will see all greenery around and broad roads. So as far as Krea University is concerned, our ecosystem consists of 2 schools. One is CIAS School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences, which I am representing here today. And the other is the IFMR. Now, IFMR is a 50-year-old institution. They were into management research and finance research. 20 years back, they came up with GSB, Graduate School of Business, and started giving MBA degree. And 4 years back, CIAS came into picture where they tried to bridge the gap between the higher ed and the industry. And this gap cannot be filled in, cannot be completed if we don't have the research centers. So Krea ecosystem has, 6 research centers, as you can see, LEAD, JPAL, CDFI, and recently we have opened up Sapien Labs of Mind and Brain and the Motri Satyanarayan Center for Humanities. So as soon as you say research center, people think, oh, science, but research center, in these research centers, we have interdisciplinary projects, where humanities students and science students can work together on the same project, right? At Krea, we give 3 years BA honors and BSc honors degree, and we have 12 majors and 15 minors. When I say interwoven learning model, it consists of these 8 elements. And this is not only a theory, every professor is chosen on the basis of this, and they plan out, they craft their lesson plans on the basis of this interwoven learning model. So whether you do BA or BSc at Krea, all the courses at Krea are very writing intensive, research based. We follow the interdisciplinary model. Ethics, which is becoming a very important part. Industry leaders are asking for, people who can follow the, ethics and who are integral, maintain the integrity in themselves. Historicity, data analytics is the language of the 21st century, and the immersive learning experience, because unless and until you can apply those theory into the real life situation, you will not be able to bridge this gap. Now, here, I would just like to give one example. Many times people think that, oh, I'm doing a major in maths, so why do I need to write? Maths major is not writing intensive. Always remember that numbers always exist in a context. So whether you do maths, psychology, or literature, the course will be writing intensive. And it is interdisciplinary or interwoven to such an extent. Just to give you an example, a group of students got a project on mathematical reasoning, in the first year. And 4 girls out of this group were trained in classical dance. So they presented the project on mathematical reasoning through classical dance. So it was unimaginable for me, but I really went into the depth. I asked them, I said, how did you manage this? But this is the extent of, interwovenness which takes place. And it can take place only if you have the professors, you have the mentors who believe in that, who have a conviction in this kind of methodology and who can teach you through that. So if you look at the, faculty of Krea University, you will see that all of them are not only PhDs in a particular discipline, maybe they have PhDs in multiple disciplines, or they will have some other kind of, talent within them, which they will try to, give it to you. Like Professor Anil Srinivasan, who is a great pianist. He's a Kalai Mamani awardee, which is the highest award in Tamil Nadu. And he takes classes like, he's playing piano, and he will teach you that how music is related to maths, to physics, to neurosciences, to psychology, to cognitive science, to maths. That's amazing. And literally, he will, and historicity, how history is a witness to different kinds of music. And how whatever kind of music you talk about, it's amazing. Sometime maybe Richa, I will call Professor Anil Srinivasan for that kind of, session with your students. Swan
wow.
Malya Ganesh, who is a professor of history, but a great theater artist. So when they teach in the class, they bring all these subjects live, into your classroom situation so that you can actually experience that how do I connect various dots to look at a situation. So what happens at Krea, the academic structure looks like this. It is a 3-year course. So in the first year, we teach skill courses and core courses. These are the skill courses and core courses, which are common to everyone. Everybody needs to, go for this. So like creative expression, Krea is the only university which gives, a course in creative expression, whether it be literature and arts, mathematical reasoning, ethics, design thinking, communication. All these are transferable skills, which actually prepare you for that, the real world of work, because only theory will not help. So in the second year, then you declare your major minor, and third year, you do a capstone thesis also. So at the end of the first year and at the end of the second year, you are given internship opportunities or the summer programs. These internships and summer programs are given by Krea. The student doesn't need to run around. So we will give you, and then we will give you a docket, and then you can always pick and choose, what works best for you. These are the 12 majors, and all these majors can also be taken as minors. And there is no prerequisite to choose any major minor combination. You can have, psychology with history, or computer science with biological sciences. You can choose any combination from here. The last 3, global arts, philosophy, and business studies, are offered only as minors. And along with major minor, you can always go for a concentration. So like major means 14 to 16 courses, a minor means 6 to 8 courses, and a concentration means 3 to 4 courses. You can do all 3 together. Or you can also go for these joint majors, which will be, if you're doing, suppose, physics and chemistry, then 9 courses in physics and 9 in chemistry. And in fact, a few more joint majors are into the pipeline. Like, for example, computer science and psychology is a very popular combination which people are asking for. So we are working on that. Otherwise, as of now, these are the 4 well-curated joint majors which are available. And as we believe in immersive learning experience, we have a CSO, Career Service Office. We don't have any placement cell. We call it as Career Service Office, which helps you in shaping up your career trajectory, when you are in Krea and when you are going out of Krea, So the entire trajectory is planned with the help of CSO office, whether in terms of social impact internships or research internships or summer programs or, any kind of immersive learning experience. So when I say Career Service Office, because we start working with students from the very first year. You don't need to wait for students to be in the third year to tell them, okay, now you are going to appear for the interview and this is the plan. We start working with them from the very first year. So this is the way, all the 3 years are distributed. These are the various kinds of workshops Career Service Office, does with students in various years. So starting with, the self-exploration, because they have just completed their schooling, and that is also a big transition from school life to the college life, and now they are the young adults. So how these young adults are going to carry themselves, not only in terms of career, but their personal growth also. So a lot of mentoring is given to them in all the 3 years, so that we can understand what they are good at. We have working on our partnerships with foreign universities also for the summer programs. These are a few partnerships which are available as of now, like University of Chicago on data and policies, Yanspo, King's College London. All these are very, very popular summer programs among the students. These are a few companies where our students have done the social impact internships. Now, when I say social impact internships, it is not exactly doing a community service for them. So like, for example, if you're working with Goonj or Rhapsody or Pratham or Teach for India, they pick up different, projects with them, they do the need analysis and they see that what they need, like Teach for India, they needed their website to be upgraded. So, our students, work with them. There is another one institute like Minfi. Minfi is there where they started a project with school students, and there was another company which started doing a school project with the student where they were doing a sensitization about the cybersecurity and all that. So our students actually went to they did various programs with school students online, sensitizing them about the cyber crimes and all that. So these are the kind of projects which they pick up. And also we strongly believe in bridging the gap. So what we do, we keep inviting people from the industry, all these industry leaders. This is just a few names to be given. They keep coming and they keep talking to our students, giving them a clear picture that what industry looks like, what they need to do if they really want to be successful in that particular career. So this is just to give you a kind of picture that, where our students have gone. Because this is for the first time, our first batch got graduated in 2022, May 2022. So 41% of them, they are doing a 4th year at Krea. 4th year is the optional year at Krea, unless and until UGC makes the 4th year, compulsory for an undergrad program. 34% students have gone for the higher ed either in India or abroad, and 25% of them have only chosen to work. In fact, students have gone to Carnegie Mellon, like one girl have gone to Carnegie Mellon, one has gone to University of Chicago. So like the entire, the list is there. If I talk about the work, whoever decided to work, they had at least 2 companies to choose. Where do they want to work for? And that gave us a very good placement. As far as our cohort is concerned, our cohort is very, very diverse in nature, and we believe in inclusivity because no diversity can be successful without inclusivity. So we have in fact, we have a separate department also who looks after diversity and inclusion. So we have students from 5 countries and 21 states, and not only diversity in terms of the geographical region, but also in terms of the talent and the aptitude and the belief system. And as I said, no diversity can be successful if there is no inclusion. So we have the Inclusive Learning Support Office, where the peer support program is available. We have a tie-up with Your Dost and a collaboration with SCAR, where psychologists and clinical psychologists keep coming. We have a buddy program also. So as soon as you enter the university, you are not, you don't feel alone. So maybe your session will start in August, but suppose if you are applying in the first round and you are taken in Jan only, so from that day onwards, you will be given a buddy who will do the hand holding and who will take you through the entire process at Krea. So these are a few pictures at Krea University. We have various clubs. The clubs are very, very vibrant in the evening. If you feel that, I don't fit into any of these clubs, I would like to start a new club, no worries. We are there to help you out to start a new club. So these are the various festivals which they have, celebrated at Krea. These are a few pictures of the academic block. This is the residential block. All the basic facilities are available, whether it is sports or convenience store or medical facilities, everything is available on campus. It is a very self-sustainable campus. 60% of an energy comes through the solar panels which are there on campus. And I will quickly move to the, we have just come up with the new library also. I will just take you through the application if we have class 12 students here. So, our application, of course, there is an online application. We have 4 rounds of admission. The first round generally starts in October. Like the first round is on and our deadline is 5th of December. If you're planning to apply, then start writing your personal story after this session. You don't need to wait for the perfect personal story, just start jotting down the points. And this personal story is your life journey what has shaped you the way you are. We don't want to hear your academic achievements, awards here. It is just about you, which can tell us more about your personality. It can be an event, it can be the series of events, it can be influence of one person, whatever it is. If you feel that I'm not so good in articulating my thoughts and my emotions in the story, that's okay. You can always submit a video. Along with that, we need your scores from grade 9 to grade 12 and grade 12 predicted scores also, and your co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Here, only one thing I would like to highlight: don't start self-evaluating. Don't think that I have only one co-curricular. How do I fill up? Just fill up. And you are nobody to evaluate. Let us look into your application. Also, the quantity doesn't matter. The quality matters. It's not necessary that you write your extracurricular and co-curricular only if you have won a competition. Even if you have participated in a competition, that makes a huge difference, because that speaks volumes about you. That means that you have come out of your comfort zone and you have taken that risk of competing with some other person, right? So please do fill up the application if you want to apply. So the admission process is of two stages. The first stage is that whoever applies to Krea will appear for an assessment test. That assessment test will assess you on logical reasoning, numerical reasoning, verbal ability, critical analysis, and on-the-spot essay writing. Now, all these areas are very, very basic. You don't need any coaching or any practice for that. Sample papers will be available on the website. You can just go through that. And the basic purpose of introducing this is that we don't want to do any filtration at the application stage, because everybody is different. Due to pandemic, some of us were able to do a lot of activities, some of us were not able to do a lot of activities. Somebody suffered in terms of this course also. So this is a common platform where you can prove yourself and your academic potential and your critical thinking. So if you clear stage 1, then you get an invitation for stage 2, which is Krea Immersive Case Stage 2, which is followed by a case analysis and personal interaction. Now, in case analysis, a few students, 7 to 8 students, will join on a Zoom link, and you will be given a topic and you will discuss among yourself. Now, when I say discuss, remember, it is not a group discussion. So you don't need to debate on something. You just need to express yourself on that topic. We will assess you on your collaborative skills, open-mindedness, empathy, intellectual curiosity, right? So all those soft skills will be assessed, and not only talking skills, but also listening skills. And then the personal interaction, which is not an interview, it is just an interaction. We want to know more about you, and you will be given a chance to ask us also various questions. So I think I can stop here. This is our timeline for 4 rounds. And now you can ask questions. I did not have my phone here. I don't know how much time is left for questions.
That's all right. We do have some time, and we do have a couple of questions to Meenu. So let me quickly run with them. So one is about, you mentioned these amazing summer programs. Actually, they caught my eye as well. So I just wanted to understand, and since Romi's also asked a similar question, saying that, are these only open to Krea students, or can high school students who have still to apply also, is it for them as well?
No, it is only for Krea students.
Oh, okay, all right. So these are like, once you start studying, then as an undergraduate student, these are summer programs.
Yes.
I got really excited for our students who are applying. Okay, all right. No, that's an amazing opportunity for the Krea students, right? Okay, so here's a question about admissions again, which is that, can you give us some insight on the kind of grades one needs for Krea? So we've also seen that Krea is quite selective in the last 2 years. So is there a grade?
So we don't have any cutoffs. So you don't need to have a particular percentage to apply to Krea, because it's common at Krea that maybe 85% will get through and a 90% will not get through. So because we look at the holistic application, So anybody, who is confident that he will be able to clear class 12 can apply. To be very precise, yeah.
All
Because
right.
yes, once you are selected, then we will ask you for class 12 passing certificate.
Right. Okay. So, because, in my experience with the students that we have worked with, also we found that Krea is quite selective. And so I can understand, where that question is sort of coming from for people as well. Okay. All right. So I just also wanted to ask you about the admissions test. Did you say that there's a sample paper available? Because I
Yes.
don't think there was this admission test till last year, right? Is it the first year?
Yes, this is the first time we have introduced, and the reason being, many people were feeling disheartened, as you also said, Krea is very selective, that the filtration occurs only at the application level. So we thought that, let's not have any kind of filtration at the first stage, that is on the basis of application. So we want to give chance to everyone to sit for this assessment test. Earlier this assessment was happening at the end. If you remember, after the KIC, we used to have a half an hour test. So we have brought that test here in the beginning. And we feel that everybody should, appear for this testing. We will not do any filtration on the basis of application.
So, Meenu, actually, I just did a quick look. I couldn't find the sample test. If it's possible for you or for anyone to share it with us, I'll share it ahead with our students. So, if you have it at easy access right now, maybe you can just put it in the chat.
So maybe they have not put it right now because it is a newly concept which has come up. So I have your email ID, Richa. As soon as it is there, I will share it with you.
Perfect. That's wonderful. And I'll be happy to share it around with the others as well, right? So, right. So, I did actually find it very interesting to that the piano session that you talked about with Professor Anil Srinivasan, and I will take you up on that, Meenu, at some point. Really, it sounds mind blowing to have that kind of connection, like you said, neuroscience, physics, mathematics, and music coming together, and to have professors who can create those connections, I think, among other things, must really be so engaging for students to study from. So that's very inspiring, and thank you again for all your time. Are there any contact details that you could share with our
Yes.
clients, because then they want just an
Yes.
email ID or something that they can reach out to later?
So I will just write it in the chat box.
Yes, that'll be wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, great.
So you're most welcome to write to me for any kind of clarification.
Thank you so much, Meenu. Really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for being here. I think this has been a truly enlightening session for all of us. And like I said, Krea is really a wonderful university, though really far away. So I'm glad that everyone got a view of it. Thank you so much for your time, Meenu. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We usually close with our little video, which we love. So we just like to give you a view of that as well. So here goes, and have a great weekend after that. Just a moment, please. Okay, here we are. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.